Hey, y'all. This is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Punchers.
Yeah, top hats to anal probing. That's how we do it around here.
Then they had a flatbread truck.
They had a flatbed truck. It's the tastiest truck on the planet.
Holy moly, there's a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my phone?
Yeah.
It came into my suitcase. I threw it off
did what in his suitcase?
They attribute it to El Vampiro de Mocha, the vampire of Mocha. It was
Vampire of
chocolate.
Mocha. Yeah.
That's right. Hey, stop all the beaming.
Stop all the beaming, UFO.
Hashtag stop the beaming.
Oh, man.
Hey, friends. Welcome to Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
I'm Dave.
And on this episode, we are going to talk about werewolves in England. Oh my God. It's right outside our door. We're going to be talking about maybe more recent sightings, because I came across this article and I was just fascinated that people were spotting large 8-foot wolves running around. But before we get there, I'd like to say hi to a few listeners that gave us some feedback. They gave us topic ideas. And this whole listener segment is brought to you by Living Among Bigfoot. It's a great book series. Liz, you just read one just the other day.
Yes. It continued being very good. I can't wait to read the next one is what I'm trying to say. Like, it was good.
What book in the series is it? Like the book 2 or 1?
I just read book 4, I believe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Paranormal Punchers, home of the best book reviews ever.
That's right.
Yeah.
But
it was, it was.
It's okay.
Okay,
I didn't mean to
sorry.
put you on the spot.
But it's book 4 and it's still hooked you. You're
Yes.
still into it. Nice. Very nice.
So,
Unexpected visitors. I'm sorry. There we go.
moving on.
Yeah.
We heard from Meg. She says, "Hey guys, I just wanted to email my response towards Kira, who told the story about her dog. I just wanted to say I totally feel her story, and that I had a similar experience with my best friend, cat, Mama G. When we had to put her down, I held her in my arms until she passed over. The next few months following, I would have dreams where she was there, and I would wake up to her meowing in my ear like she used to, even though she was gone. I also would feel her jumping onto the bed. Pets are more than just pets. They are family, and it's crazy how sometimes they stick around. If I'm really stressed out, even years after her passing, Mama G will show up in my dreams to comfort me, and I know it's not just my mind making it up, because she's actually there. Also, I wanted to say hi to Kira. I'm also in British Columbia, Canada. FTW, for the win, obviously. Well, back in my day, FTW stood for something else. Why is that funny, Dave?
FTW. I think FTL.
You can figure out the F, and then the rest was the world.
Oh, right. Okay.
Back in the hair metal days.
Yeah.
That's true. Right on.
I'm sorry to take us right off track immediately. Meg finishes up by saying, "Keep up the great work, guys. I've officially caught up on your episodes and look forward to all the new stuff you guys will post. Truly the best paranormal podcast in the world."
Wow.
Wow.
Right
Much love,
on.
Meg.
Thank you.
Thank you, Meg.
Yeah.
And that's cool that Kira and Meg, both from British Columbia, Canada. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing that story with us, Meg. All right, so we heard from Dan. Everybody's chuckling because my dog
Just made a
my
fantastic
dog
sound.
is the beast Bodum.
Yeah, that's right.
Over there growling.
Wow. Sorry.
We heard from Dan. In the Rendlesham Forest episode, perhaps I misunderstood or missed something, but it sounded like it was said that that when the ship was touched, the coordinates received in the binary download were in Brazil. The coordinates were actually for off the coast of Ireland, where a legendary island, High Brazil, is believed to have sunk between the waves. Some people think the date included in the binary is when the Atlantis-like island is supposed to reappear. There have been periodic reports of spotting the island through history and some old maps actually showing High Brazil on them.
Wow.
Anybody? Dan,
Brazil.
Yeah. Liz, did you look up any
Yeah,
of that?
I looked it up because I was like, oh boy, I must have been an idiot, but I had never heard of that, so I just assumed High Brazil was a place in Brazil. So I was like,
Right.
it's not.
Hey, thanks for letting us know, Dan.
Absolutely.
And now I'm really fascinated with
I know.
this.
High Brazil.
And Dave, I know you're an Atlantis lover.
Yeah.
So this High Brazil, spelled HY-BRASIL. I'm very curious. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
We heard from James. Love the podcast. I have a topic suggestion. I live in Virginia, and a big local mystery is the Bunny Man. I won't spoil the story, but I have cousins in Northern Virginia, and the Bunny Man is just common knowledge to them up there. It's pretty interesting and worth a look. Did you ever hear the Bunny Man?
The Bunny Man. It doesn't sound very fierce.
I heard of Echo and the Bunny Man.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, yeah, killer bunny.
Big fierce teeth.
Yeah.
That is
Foul creature.
2 episodes in a row we referenced the bunnies in Monty Python's. All right. Hey, we're on a roll with that. Thanks, James. Hey, we're going to check that out. Appreciate the topic idea.
Yes.
We heard from TJ Katko. That's his Twitter handle. TJ Katko. So I stumbled across your podcast, and I dig it. I have been binging at work. I made it through 18 episodes in 3 days to this point. The creepiest one would have to be the Black Eyed Kids.
Yeah.
Cool podcast. Keep it up. And then TJ hit us again. Okay. So I ended last Friday with the first 30 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right? I'm hooked. Reminds me of drinking with my friends back on the East Coast.
Nice. Well, that's
TJ, we're on the East Coast.
That's right.
and that's what we do. We drink and shoot the breeze about the paranormal. Not always, because right now we're recording it over coffee and water.
Yep.
But it sounds like we went to funk, as outrageous as this
I
beginning
know.
is.
Yes,
Lord.
exactly.
Okay. Thanks, TJ. Oh, and he also hit us up again on Twitter. Okay. I'm all caught up, and you guys inspired me to make my own theory.
All right.
What if the reason we can't get solid proof of any of the paranormal is because there isn't anything paranormal at all? Maybe the people who witness or experience these things are just looking at an alternate universe, dimension, or realm. So there it is normal, but here it is considered paranormal. I know it sounds crazy, but maybe all these health spots are just places that overlap and the pudding skin is super thin.
What's up, right on, pudding skin?
Yeah, thanks, TJ, for bringing back the dang pudding skin.
That's a great
That's so
analogy. Yes. Yes. You can get through, but it's just a little tougher because it's, gets thicker on the top.
Oh boy.
Thanks, TJ.
I agree. That's a good call. Good call.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for interacting with us. Greatly appreciate it. We heard from Fezikaz on Instagram. First name's Jessica. We know that, and I'll tell you why. Where in PA? Wait, where in PA are you guys from? I'm obsessed with the Paranormal podcast. I have been for as long as I can remember, causing years of lack of sleep. I just found your podcast. I'm a little in love. I hail from Lancaster, PA, and she now resides in this house in Wrightsville, and she's convinced it's haunted. I was extremely excited to hear you're in PA as well. Us Pennsylvanians got to stick together. Thank you for the incredibly entertaining yet informative podcast. I'm hooked and now a dedicated listener, working my way back through all your episodes. And thank you, Jessica. She also sent us a story about what's happening in her house in Wrightsville. Huh. And we're going to get to that in the second half. And there's a lot of crazy things going on.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing that. Can't wait to get to that story. I would see, we heard from Christina. She recommended us on Facebook. The best podcast out there. The witty and funny cast are irreplaceable. First one to laugh is Dave. Isn't that funny? I have been listening for a few months and even had my teenage son hooked. Keep up the great work, and if you're ever interested in checking out Area 51, let us know. If it's not weird, it's not worth checking out. Thank you so much, Christina. And yeah, I would love to check out Area 51 someday.
Oh,
It's on my list of places to visit.
Yeah.
For sure. And if we ever make it out, we'll let you know we're coming.
Die a hero's death.
What, dude?
Yeah. What?
I don't think anybody's getting out of Area 51.
Oh, you think if we go to Area 51, we're going to die a hero's death?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as we get to battle aliens.
Yeah.
Most likely just the Men in Black. Mm-hmm. We heard from Michael. He recommended us on Facebook, too. Love the witty banner. The topics are just terrific, and they really do seem to love their fans. We do.
Wow, that was nice. That was
Makes
nice.
a long day at work go by a little bit quicker. Listen to you guys. Keep on keeping on, brothers and sisters. Well, thank you so much, Michael. And yeah, I don't call them fans. I think they're just other hosts. Everybody listening contributes to the idea. So the show is it's all of us.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Almost done, everybody. I know sometimes, but I'd like to read everything that's sent to us. Okay. Let's see. We heard from Sean on Facebook. Hey, guys and lady. LOL. I just found your podcast on Google Play, and I must say, I'm digging it. I was thinking of a show that would be cool for you guys. The Hudson Valley Boomerang or Flap that took place in the Hudson Valley in the mid-'80s. I used to live in Orange County, New York, many years ago, and I myself have seen strange lights in the sky. Or, another topic idea, or the Southern Illinois sighting on January 5th, 2000. 5 different officers from 5 different towns saw a triangle-shaped UFO. The sighting started with a truck driver who saw it around 4 a.m. and went to the police department to report it. The call went out over the radio, and between 4 and 4:30, different town officers cited it. Just a couple of things for you guys. Keep up the excellent work. You know, it's not the first time somebody saw a triangle-shaped ship.
Oh, yeah.
Seems to be like almost Rendlesham.
Yep.
The Phoenix Lights had that shape. Up in Bridgewater Triangle, some people reported that triangle. So, man, what's up with the triangles?
I'm sure there's like different shaped ships too, but
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate that. Yeah, we'll check those out.
Isn't that what they modeled the pyramids after?
Right, so everything's a triangle.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Emily, she said on Facebook, she shot us a little screenshot here. She said, Spotify knows. She didn't say it like that. But she has a little screenshot here from Spotify, and Spotify was like, in between tunes, you tuned into some quality podcast. Your favorite was Paranormal Punchers. And also, Doug, the stuff they don't want you to know. I never heard of that podcast, but I'm going to look it up.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much, Emily, for listening to us. Greatly appreciate that. All right. So, okay. That is it for listener feedback, because the next thing here is Jessica's story, and we're going to say that for the second half. It's super cool. It's super spooky. Again, like I said, that was brought to you by Living Among Bigfoot. Great book series. A new chapter, a new story comes out each 15th of the month. What is it called? We discussed this before. It's not a new chapter. It's a new...
It's an installment.
Yeah. Comes out every 15th of the month. Go on Amazon, Google it. You'll find it. You can't Google it on Amazon. You're already on Amazon.
Right.
I'm just searching on
I wasn't going
Amazon.
to point that out, but I figured you'd get there. You know?
This is what happens when you don't pregame.
That's right.
At Funk.
That's right.
Elizabethtown in the mask.
Oh, boy.
All right, hey, we're going to move on here. It's time for some werewolf conversation.
Oh,
Are you guys ready? I can see that sound effect's going to get abused today.
Yeah.
Now, we decided to just focus in on some stuff over in England, some more of the recent sightings, because it's so fascinated. I'm so fascinated by werewolves and sightings, and some of the descriptions, I must say, are freaky. But I wanted to hit you guys with just a little tidbits to get us rolling. Do you know, in Greek mythology, that werewolves also showed up? Dave, you probably knew this.
No.
Okay. Why do I always think you know stuff? Let's see.
A good game.
But there. Oh, okay. There was the legend of Lycaon, Lycaon.
Lichen.
Yeah, whatever. Lycaon.
Is that the guy from...
Lycaon. I don't know. Anyway, according to legend, Lycaon, the son of Pelescus, angered the god Zeus when he served him a meal made from the remains of a sacrificed boy, right? That, I could see why Zeus was a little
a little put off by that.
Yeah.
As punishment, Zeus turned Lycaon and his son into wolves. Okay. All right. So, yeah, Greek mythology. Also, Nordic. legend.
Okay.
Werewolf showed up. Let's see. I'm going to butcher this. It comes from the saga of the Volsungestellis.
Oh, yeah, the old
Volsungestellis. I apologize for that, but I did the best I could. It's the best I could do. It's a story of a father and son who discovered wolf pelts that had power to turn people into wolves for 10 days.
What?
Wolf pellets?
Yeah, wolf pellets.
Was that what you
Smear
said?
the wolf poop on your... Is that
what you said? Wolf pellets? They found wolf pellets?
Pelts.
Oh, pelts. Oh, wow. I heard that really wrong. Sorry about that. That's all I was like. I got to clarify this.
But the father and son duo donned these pelts, transformed into wolves, and went on a killing spree.
Wow.
Okay.
And let's see, the rampage ended, I guess the dad killed the son, and only one son survived because a kind raven. No, I'm reading this wrong. His dad, the rampage ended when his dad hit him with a lethal gash, lethal wound. But a kind raven gave the father a leaf with healing powers. Okay, that's what it says.
Okay, so there's the father and son. They dress up like wolves. The father killed the son.
Right, he attacked the son. I guess they were on a killing spree, and maybe that berserker rage, that frenzy,
a blood fury,
took a hold of the father, and he also attacked the son.
Okay,
and then a raven came down with the healing leaf
and healed the son.
Yep, healed the son.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks, Bird.
So it ended. It ended well. I mean, except for everybody in town they killed.
Right.
Well,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, there was only one raven, I guess.
Right.
It wasn't like a flock of happy healing ravens.
Right. Yeah, they were NPCs.
Yeah, it just happens.
Oh yeah. Yeah, interesting. Of course, I grew up with the watching some of the old classic Universal monsters, and of course, Werewolf.
Yeah.
So for me, I always just thought it had to be a full moon. Bitten by a werewolf that he didn't kill you. Full moon, you turn into one. You go eat some people. And then you wake up naked in the forest. And the only way to be killed is with silver.
Right.
So,
see, I always took it as kind of it forced you to change. The moon forced you to change. You still had the ability to change at will, but you were forced to do it at the full moon.
is when you cannot control it.
Correct. Other than that, you could control
I'd be
it.
transforming all the time.
Oh yeah, it'd be great. I'd be like, I need to go for a jog. I'm gonna turn into a wolf.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's a little cold. I need some fur. Let's turn into a wolf. Sure.
Yeah, you would abuse the power.
I would. I would put grass down in the basement down here, and then that way it would be like, why don't you go to the bathroom and the plumbing's not working? I'm
Right.
gonna turn into a wolf.
So why don't we jump in? Now that we,
Wow.
You know, you just go outside, whatever, turn into
now
a
we
wolf.
we got a little bit of the legend. We got a little bit of Universal Monsters Werewolf. Why don't we jump into some recent sightings in the past, decade, 2 decades over in England? Let's put us back on the rails, please.
Sure. So I do want to start with saying that over in England, wolves were actually wiped out. I don't even know.
Yeah, right off the rails.
What history? We gotta give it some history.
I know.
Oh my god.
So I just want to be like, so some of these reported sightings of werewolves, I mean, there's no wolves in England. So like, what are they seeing?
Right.
Okay.
That's
Gotcha.
what I'm trying to start
Gotcha.
with. I'm sorry.
So the baseline wolves were completely extinguished. So there's not like
Yes.
mistaken from one wolf to another or gotcha.
Yes. Okay. So, in 1975, this kind of started the whole thing in Cannock Chase, I guess, the sightings in that area. A 17-year-old boy took out his Ouija board, and he wanted to trade the devil his soul for the power to turn into a werewolf.
Yeah, this was back in 1975.
1975. Shortly after, a friend said that he received a phone call from this teen, and all he could hear were odd guttural noises coming from him. That same young man was found dead soon after. He had killed himself with a silver knife.
Okay.
Who in their right mind breaks out a Ouija board to try to summon the devil?
I don't know.
This was 1975.
Right.
There were a lot of groovy things happening at that time. It's just that's what you did.
Well, I don't know. Did you say devil, or am I making that up myself?
No,
I thought
he
I
was the
read
devil.
that. Yeah, I think if you break out the Ouija board, you start a little low level.
Right.
Maybe just spirit running around your house.
Entry level.
Yeah, you don't go right to
great grandma.
to the devil.
How are you?
Yeah.
Right.
'Cause obviously
Yeah.
it'll end bad. He chose poorly.
Well, it sounds like he got his wish. I mean,
Okay.
He asked to change into a werewolf. He started changing into a werewolf and apparently didn't like it very much.
Right. So that same year, that is when a lot of people started seeing a werewolf. So I don't know, like, if he opened a door
Right.
for more to come. I don't know.
Or he bit somebody before he killed
Yeah.
himself. And
I mean, it could have been that way, too. But
Yeah, they had like over, let's see, sightings for like the past 30 years,
Yeah.
on and off, day and night.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
Right. Which I think leads us to say, like, maybe it's not just a full moon. Like, if it's during the day as well.
Well, that's what Nash would.
Right.
See, Nash would be the one running
Yeah.
around during the day.
I would be. I would be. I wouldn't even go to work. I would just turn into a wolf and go for a run.
But yeah, so a local paranormal group, they started investigating a series of sightings of a snarling beast, which had reared up onto its hind legs before disappearing into some bushes. And that was in 1975. So this is kind of like when it all kind of started in that area. But
Yeah, but in 2007, a mailman saw.
Yes.
He talked about. I thought it was just like a big dog, and it stood up on his hind legs and started running.
yep,
I have a question for you.
sure.
Okay, so this kid, he killed himself with his silver knife. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I know, like, with the traditional vampires, it's a stake in the heart, but if you remove the stake from the heart, the vampire comes back to life, right? Isn't that the theory, anyway? That if you remove the stake from the vampire's heart, it comes back to life.
What?
I've
never heard
You
that.
never heard that?
No.
Oh, okay, well, it could be just me. But with the silver bullet, you get shot with the silver bullet, you die. But if you kill yourself with a silver knife, is that like seppuku or something, where you just have to stab yourself in the heart, or?
Oh, it doesn't have to be in the heart.
But is it like, I'm just thinking that the silver wouldn't the silver need to stay for it to stay dead?
No.
No?
That's the only
don't
thing
think
that
so.
maybe break the curse, truly kill it. I think you could kill it by bashing it in the head with a silver baseball bat.
It's like it has to break skin with silver.
Yeah.
Almost like the silver has to touch the blood and
Okay.
Something like
Good.
that. I don't
That was
know.
my question, because I was thinking he just like slit his wrist with the silver thing, and then he's like, okay, well, there's no more. It's just going to bleed
Don't
out.
question the silver.
I'm
bro.
just wondering. Just
It's the one thing that can save you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So in 2012, in the same area, there was a couple people that were parked in this says lay-by or lay-by, an area.
What?
It's an area. So like, I don't know how to say it, so I apologize. But it's an area where cars can pull off the road and park.
Is that what they call it?
That's what they call it, a lay-by. I don't know. Sorry. So they were
An overlook, maybe
maybe.
a scenic
Yep.
parking area.
Listen, I'm just
Parking lot.
saying what was written.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So they saw something moving in the bushes. It was about 10 to 15 meters from the car. So I don't know.
A meter's 3.3 feet.
Is it? Okay.
Look at
Thank you.
That's one of the only little factoids I know. So that's what, 45, 50 feet away?
So the driver, he turned on his headlights and realized that they were looking at the outline of a human-like figure that stood 7 to 8 feet tall. When the creature noticed them, it began to charge the car, which prompted them to obviously drive away. And then also in this area, there's been several pets that have gone missing from homes. And even stranger, there's been a lot of mutilated animal carcasses found near the cemetery. So I don't know if this is like his hunting ground in this area.
His territory?
but yeah.
Okay. Now, see, I came across something also with regards to, there was a question about, there was a sighting and some interaction where, now this was in October of 2017, where they were questioning, did they meet the Cannock Chase werewolf?
Right.
And basically, there was a group of kids that they were going out, I think they were late teens, 18, 19. They were going to go out and have a bonfire in the woods. So they all got together, they went and got some booze, and they all went off in the woods and lit a fire, hang around the fire, and have a good time and get drunk. There was during the time when they were out there with the fire enjoying it, they heard some rustling around, and one of the friends looked over and saw this log laying on the ground, and instantly freaked out. She was, "Oh my gosh, I see a bear! I see a bear!" A bear, it looked like a giant dog or a giant bear, and all the other friends that were with them thought that they said that, well, she might not have been the brightest candle in the shed, and they would get after her a little bit, and so they're like, yeah, whatever, not even worry about it. Well, later that same evening, one of the kids had to go to the restroom and went off into the woods to go do the thing, and while they were doing their business, heard some rustling behind and couldn't see anything, and heard like dog sniffing. Like a dog sniffing around. The kid thought, okay, well, this is one of my other friends, and they're just messing with me. He got up and didn't hear or see anything because it's pitch black out there, and started to hear some rustling, thinking it was his friend, like sprinted toward it, okay, thinking, I'm going to get you, I'm going to surprise you, joke's on you. Come to find out, sprinted towards the sound, and there was nothing there. And now this kid was like, okay, well, I'm feeling a little lost. I'm in the woods. It's dark. It's pitch black. I don't know where I'm going. And, oh, my gosh, where am I? And started to feel a little distressed and started kind of going to what he thought was back to the camp. Heard another rustling behind him and the dog sniffing again, turned around, and he said it was a dog about a massive 8, 9, maybe even 10-foot beast standing on its hind legs right in front of him.
What?
Yeah. And so the beast was right behind him, put his paws on his shoulders, and pushed him back on the ground and pushed him down. And he said that this werewolf at the time, or this beast, started sniffing around his ear like your dog does at home. They sniff around your ear, and you feel little the whiskers tickling your ear and in your neck. And they said this creature was doing that to him, and he was still pretty much freaking out, but it didn't seem like the dog was trying to hurt him or eat him, more like he wanted to sniff him and maybe play. He said it looked like the dog was being playful.
What?
Yeah, and so then started to, from the initial scream of, I'm going to get you or whatever, the friends started coming, the dog heard the friends coming, and then bolted, and that was it, and it was gone.
What if the werewolf was like his buddy?
It could have been.
And it was sniffing like, I recognize my friend. I'm not going to eat him.
That could have been it. That could have been it. And they said the one thing that was the major thing that was different that I thought in the story was I've seen a lot of accounts of werewolves where it's this large creature with very long, thin legs, spindly legs with no fur, and they were saying the first-hand account was saying that this creature was like a traditional gray wolf. It was very, very furry, lots of gray-black fur. The big, what you would see if you look at the pictures like of the Beast of Bray Road or something like that, big furry creature.
Okay.
And so he said it took off, and then they went back, and they're just all kind of dismissing it. And the kid was like, well, I wasn't really hurt, but this was an amazing thing. I need to document it. So,
Right.
Yeah, and that was happened right outside of Cannock Chase.
Okay.
So it's kind of right in that same area that you were talking about.
Okay.
Lish.
Well, I wonder if that's the same. There was a couple mountain bikers.
Oh, God, I was going to say that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
We're crushing some, trails up in the woods there outside of Cannock Chase.
Chase, yeah.
And they saw something, and they were filming. Like, probably had, like mountain bikers, they have GoPros and stuff on
Right,
there.
right.
Yeah.
There's like a few seconds at the trail, you see like this, what looks like a wolf standing on its hind legs. Probably same area, or I don't know.
It could have been. And I just thought it was weird because so far now I've come across two really distinct visual images of the wolves. Either one is like this kind of like mangy looking thing where it doesn't have much in the way of fur but long spindly legs, and it stands on all fours at like 6-7 feet tall.
Right.
But then this other one, which was a very, very traditional wolf on its hind legs, So I don't know. I don't know.
I tell you, that would be stuff of nightmares to turn around and a giant wolf knocks you on the ground and starts sniffing, because that's when you're like, he's going to eat me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sound like if I play dead, You know, if it's a bear, maybe it'll leave me alone. Like, no. Because I think it'll eat you dead or alive.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Well, and I, you know, in reading that story, I was really amazed because it was like that's kind of what a large animal who didn't want to eat you would do, and he would, at the next sound that they heard, would take off and bolt out of there. You know what I mean? It wouldn't turn and face or fight or anything like that. It would just be skittish and take off. So I don't know. It's pretty interesting stuff.
You know, this Cannock Chase, it's there's more than just werewolves running around. There's been reports of UFOs, ghostly children. But one thing that I found that really stuck out to me that's almost worthy of an episode itself. I don't know if you guys came across this, but this is freaky. Just let me get to this in my notes. Okay. So it says in World War II, or this could be a myth, urban legend, whatever, but in World War II, the governments of England and the United States were conducting human experimentation. You know, trying to do crossbreeds similar to stuff that the Nazis
Right.
had done.
Keep going. I'm with you.
One of the experiments was supposed to be a crossbreeding between a human and a pig. It made a pig man.
I saw something about that, about pigmen.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
But apparently, of course, he escaped
Of
sure.
course.
from the facility and he's reported run around the woods of Cannock Chase. It's almost like I want to know so much more about the experimentations.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, but
The big pig man and the werewolf just like kick it out in the woods.
well, that was my question.
Throwing, like,
is,
raves.
Could they hang out? I mean,
Right.
that's pretty wild. They're having a werewolf hang out with a pig man. That's like me hanging out with a pizza. It just doesn't. I don't know.
What? Did you say it's
The Wolfman would eat the pig man.
Yeah, the wolfman would eat the pig man. That's like prime food.
I was like, for some reason, I didn't get it right away. I just heard you say that's like me hanging out with a pizza. I'm like,
Yeah.
Do you mean boring conversation?
That means I would be like, hello, you look so delicious today.
I don't know why I didn't get it.
Chomp, chomp, chomp.
Well, in 2008, Cannock Chase was named on a declassified Ministry of Defense report as a hotspot of reported UFO activity for the entire country. Sightings include balls of light, cigar-shaped UFOs, and then like big 10-foot hovering lights. But
Man, it sounds like we need to go to
I think so.
make a trip over to Cannock Chase.
Yeah.
Right. I think so.
Super interesting.
That experimentation sounds pretty wild.
yeah, right?
It kind of fits in with some of my thoughts here.
Oh, God.
Just saying.
Oh boy.
So what else?
Well, I came across Old Stinker. Have you guys heard about Old Stinker?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will not say what's in my mind right now.
Old Stinker. So this is not in Cannock Chase. This is a little bit farther away, but pretty much in this same kind of area, I guess.
Okay.
You know what
Hull, England?
Yeah.
Or Kingston upon Hull.
I mean? Okay.
There have been sightings of Old Stinker for a long time, since like the 1100s. Okay. Basically, this is he's like a werewolf with a long tail that could sweep people off their feet.
It's a really
Like
long
Godzilla?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a really long tail.
I know.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome, right?
Blood red eyes.
Right.
And then what is really kind of interesting about him and where he gets his name is he has really bad breath. Yeah.
But most dogs do have really nasty breath.
True.
I call my dog Old Stinker. Yeah, her breath's terrible.
So I was reading that the reason he has such bad breath is he's usually found eating corpses from cemeteries.
Yes.
That'll do it.
That's nasty.
Yeah.
That's totally gross.
Yeah.
And see, I came across another one. Now, this is a little bit different, but I can't. It was weird. It was an encounter in 2016, where there was two encounters that I have here. One was a young lady. I think it was a young lady. Had this encounter, ran to the local convenience store, and the convenience store people said, "Oh, right, that must be the you must be talking about the Barmston Beast."
Barmston.
Yeah. And then they went on to talk about the actual Barmston Beast. But The first encounter that kind of triggered the whole thing happened in August of 2016. There was a detailed report that was straightforward enough. It was fantastic. This person was driving down a country lane near Halsham with 2 friends to get pizza. Right on, good call, pizza. Yeah. When her friends in the backseat saw a fox. This person was the person looked over to see a beast on 4 legs just as it stood up and walked toward the car. She described the creature as looking like a big dog with cream or gray fur, probably bigger than my car, and with a human face. So
that's freaky.
Dog, man, that's backwards.
Yeah, I don't like that visual.
Well, I did see a few things about people have seen wolf body with a human face, or vice versa, a wolf head with a human body. I did see that too.
You think?
Yeah, but that could just be some dude in a mask running around naked, looking to get arrested for sure. Yeah.
I wasn't running around naked, I promise. It can be a little woolly sometimes. But they went to this gas station because they were freaked out. On a side note, do you think if there was like a werewolf community, okay, and say young werewolves would like go off to school, and then there was one werewolf kid that was backwards and had a human face and a werewolf body, you think that kid would be ostracized?
Probably.
Yeah. That sounds like a rough life. Anyway, right.
God.
Yeah, exactly. So I just, random thoughts as they happen. Yeah, because this happened, the Beast of Barmston Drain is a reference to, is that where an area of Hull, England?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys
That's
found?
around Old Stinkers territory. So.
Okay.
They're all friends.
Yeah.
Probably all, working out, getting all super swole together.
Yeah,
As if there was a werewolf community.
Yeah, right.
So I'm telling you, there could be a center, and it just went on about how there was this other thing in the Barmston. This Barmston beast was just wreaking havoc across the land. It was just amazing to hear that these gas station attendants were like, "Oh yeah, no, it must be the Barmston beast. They're always out and about."
I wonder if
mischief.
the residents ever just took up, their guns.
Oh.
Went out and hunting parties.
Oh, yes. Actually, in 2016, there was a bunch of residents of Hull that got together and decided to do a werewolf hunt.
Oh, really?
I wonder if that's like in Wolf Cop, the old drink and shoot.
Yeah, exactly.
Drinking and hunting. That sounds safe.
So on the full moon of May 21st, 2016, a journalist, a local historian, a folklorist, and some family in Hull.
That's a really awesome title for someone who just writes
I know.
folklore.
They were in St. Mary's graveyard to try to figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Who is this monster? Unfortunately, the weather didn't cooperate, and the party was forced to disband before they had the opportunity to dispel the werewolf menace presented itself.
I would sign up to be on that
Right?
that hunt.
But
I mean, I don't know. We wouldn't want to capture.
I don't know, how bad the weather was.
Right.
Like, why couldn't they do what they wanted to do? But
that sounds like a terrible idea, going on this hunt.
yeah,
Right.
I know.
Because you would need everybody there to have silver weapons.
Right. Yeah.
Silver bullets and silver
Yeah.
everything.
And don't forget, in the UK, guns are outlawed except for shotguns for hunting. So you've got a
Pitchforks.
double barrel shotgun. That's it.
With silver
Wow.
buckshot in it
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
That's a really expensive shell.
Yeah. Yep. But just that whole story, it's like, the weather got bad and they had to disband. That sounds like and they were picked off one by one.
Right.
Well, I mean, it doesn't sound like it was a very good hunting party.
Yeah.
It was a journalist, a historian, a folklorist.
Well, you never know.
But you're the baker of the candlestick.
Right.
That's exactly right.
I guess you never know, but
And they're sticks, because that's really all you can take on a
A
hunt.
journalist and a folklorist walk into a bar.
That's right.
The folklorist says, "Hey,
I'm here for the werewolf. Huh. I wonder how much a silver buckshot shell would cost.
Yeah.
That's pretty expensive.
Probably, yeah. But does it have to be pure silver, or could you just silver plate?
Like sterling silver or silver
just-
plate?
yeah.
That's a good question.
yeah."
goodness.
Oh, we could melt it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even just silver flecks, like you just like shavings and stuff. Put that into with the buckshot. and
True.
Right.
Hope it.
I would probably just go out there with some silver-coated throwing stars, ninja style.
That would be
Yeah,
awesome.
and it'd be the first one picked up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I got some fun stuff here for you. Some possible reasons for this werewolf
Okay.
mania.
Okay.
It's one, food poisoning.
No.
So yeah, you eat some bad clams, and you're like, "Oh my god, you guys see that werewolf over there?" Okay, these are this.
What? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Let's see. Another possible reason for
Okay.
people seeing werewolves is I'm going to butcher this word, hypertrichosis, a rare genetic disorder causing excessive hair growth. So they could just saw a real hairy dude
Because
and.
Isn't that we've seen pictures where it happened? That's most frequent, I think, in Latin America, isn't it? Where they have wolfism. It's where you know what I'm talking about, where they actually have people that have just massive amounts of hair growth, and they kind of look like wolfmen.
Rabies. So maybe it is an animal or dog, all infected, looking mangy, and just people see it and they freak out and like, oh my god, that doesn't look normal.
Somebody foaming, and they're turning into a werewolf.
Right.
And how about hallucinations caused by hallucinogenic herbs?
Nice.
That is
some
I
magic
was going to
mushrooms.
say, that could
I
be
see a lot on magic mushrooms.
Yeah.
So there's just a few of the logical possibilities of why people see some crazy things.
One other, I think we've talked about this before, but bears that get mange.
Oh
And their
yeah.
hair
They
starts to
look
fall
like
off.
werewolves.
Yeah,
They look like werewolves.
Did we ever find it? Did you ever find if there were a lot of bears in England?
I don't know.
You know what? I don't know. I know they don't have any wolves. So
Right, and I don't know about any bear population. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
There's got to be some bears over there.
Oh hell, I would imagine, but
I don't know.
I don't know. I really don't. I don't. I have no idea. So if anybody's out there and you happen to be in the UK, please let us know if there are wild bears.
Doing a quick search.
Okay.
There were probably bears in prehistoric times, but nowadays the only bears in England are to be found in zoos.
What did they look like? What did bears look like in the prehistoric times?
God,
They're just bigger.
you're probably terrifying.
They're just really, really big.
Hey, boo boo.
That's right. Is that a picnic basket?
Oh boy.
Oh man, Liz, you got any more details you want to talk about before we take a
Sure.
break?
Yeah. So in Old Stinker area,
The bathroom?
no,
Oh.
Barmston Drain area. Okay. So in December 2015, a woman claimed that she watched from a bridge near the banks of the drain. A figure below her went from standing upright to prowling on all fours, and then it reared back on its hind legs and took off in the direction of the river. Before her eyes, the figure jumped 30 feet to cross the river and land on the opposite side before darting away.
Wow.
And then in that same area, a couple, I think they actually saw this figure eating a German Shepherd dog.
I
By
heard
the
that too.
embankment. Yeah.
Yeah, that was part of they said the Barmston beast was not often cited, but it was cited and documented going through yard to yard, running around with a dead German Shepherd in its jaws.
Yeah, that's just it. They tried to see it more. I think they tried to move a little closer to see what's going on here. It literally jumped over a fence, but it was still carrying the dog in its mouth. Like it ran off with the food.
So a full-grown German Shepherd
It's big.
is a big dog. Is a really big dog.
Oh yeah,
To leap over a fence with it in your mouth.
I know.
So that means your mouth would need to be like just your jaws alone. Yeah, you would need to have your bottom jaw would need to be like 2 to 3 feet long. Mm-hmm. You know, like the giant thing that was in the giant T-Rex like thing in Jurassic Park with the extra long jaws.
Oh yeah.
It would need to be like really big to hold something of that weight, because German Shepherds are what, 180 pounds, 60 pounds?
Definitely 80. Some of the big ones, 80, 90 maybe.
They're big dogs.
They're pretty big. Yeah.
I mean, ours is 60-some.
Yeah. She's
So
on the smaller
she's on the
side.
smaller
She's
side.
about 70% of like a We've got one next door, the German Shepherd next door. That's a big dog. Giant.
right?
Their heads are like monsters. Wow, that's a big dog. That's a big jaw.
Yeah.
Well, I just have a couple like random weird stuff that I wanted to bring up, but after he died, King John of England became a werewolf, or at least that's what the rumors say.
Okay.
They say after his death, people heard sounds coming from his grave. And other people also claimed that they actually saw him roaming the countryside after he was dead. Yeah.
Is this the King John from Robin Hood?
Yes, it is. I thought that was just kind of interesting. But then also there was one person, I think he was on the older side, but he said, he was like, okay, so this other guy, he was like, the strangest rumor has come from a senior local resident who believes the mysterious intruders to be subterranean. The creatures have made their way to the surface via old earthworks to hunt, for example, local deer. It's a fact that there have been significant mining activity under Cannock Chase for centuries. And it's a fact that there is a high rate of domestic pet disappearances in the area, especially dogs off the lead. Just ask anyone who walks their dog near the German war cemetery. Yeah, so this one guy, he thinks that whatever these creatures are, they're coming from underneath the earth.
Inner
That's
earth.
interesting. Yeah.
Right.
That's what I
Wolf
thought.
soldiers.
You mean coming up from the land in the middle of
Yes.
Hollow Earth. Hollow Earth.
Yes. That's right.
Well, I don't think he meant that. I think he meant living in underground caves and tunnels and using our minds to get up. And
You're taking. See, I read that as just the opposite because they're actually guarding the entrances to the Hollow Earth, and they need to come out and hunt so they can go back to their post.
okay.
So the things can't get out.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would make great scouts. Like, send them out. They're quick. They're hard to see. So
Big and strong.
Yeah.
That's right. They can run like the wind.
Yep. And then just the people who have died, they just got too close.
You got a little close and said, sorry, buddy. Now, I came across a firsthand account where these two people, it was a husband and wife, came across the werewolf of Worcester. Bumped into it in the Cotswolds. I don't know where the Cotswolds. I don't know where that is. But it sounds very, very interesting.
Okay.
A terrified couple had met this creature. Let's see, it doesn't say specifically when this was, and they hand drew a picture of this werewolf, and they said that the werewolf itself, there was a little bit of conjecture where it was a werewolf or it was this big cat, like from a local zoo, but they said that it was petrifying. It looked like this creature was on steroids. We said that we were driving along outside the National Trust property. I'm guessing that's forest land. There are lots of open fields around here when I suddenly spotted something in the road ahead. It was getting dark, but I saw its eyes reflect in my headlights. We stopped the car, and it was just standing there. We heard rumors about an escaped panther in the area, but we thought it was a load of nonsense. But when I saw this animal with my own eyes, I was stunned. It was enormous, far too big for a fox or a dog. It must have weighed about 9 stones, about the same as a slim adult. What? Did anybody know how much? What's this? What's this stone weigh?
About 14 pounds.
14 pounds. So 9. So that's what 130 pounds ish.
Do the math.
Right.
9 times 14.
Yeah, it was 130, 136, something like that.
126.
Yeah, whatever.
You were close.
Close enough. Yeah, before a meal.
Right.
Said it looked right at us and walked up to the car. Then it lowered the front of its body and looked like it was going to pounce. We just slammed our car in reverse and took off. He did finally pull out his phone to take a picture, but they were so far away that, of course, the picture didn't turn out.
Of course.
Big surprise.
Was it blurry?
It was blurry and in the distance. Yeah. But he said that there were a lot of firsthand accounts of people seeing this panther out running around. But so the question that I have is when it comes to size of a panther in a zoo, how much do you think a panther weighs?
They gotta be like
180?
That's pretty massive.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm probably off on that.
That's a big panther. Yeah. Well, just thinking, if you saw this creature, what did you come across there, boss?
Average between 130 and 160 pounds.
Oh, that's pretty close. So they're
I
pretty,
told you.
Yep. Should have known. And that's an average. So, yeah. So, I mean, it could have been a panther, but they actually drew it out. And it showed this husband and wife sitting there with their drawing. And
I'm a little confused.
yeah.
If it looked like it was on steroids,
Yeah, it looked
he's
like.
only weighing in 126 pounds.
Right. That's not very good steroids.
He's not using the right cycle.
Right.
That one.
Exactly. He needs to be
Or whatever
doing
they call it, yeah.
some beefcake training a little bit to beef up a little bit.
Yeah, you can't just take the steroids. You got to lift the weights too.
So yeah, and that was kind of they categorized it as a werewolf sighting, but it could have been a big cat sighting. I don't know.
That would be just as terrifying, like giant cats.
I would be
like just running around on the countryside.
I'd be a little bit more freaked out of a panther, an escaped panther. Oh my gosh, that would be, I think, much more terrifying than a werewolf, because a werewolf will take off. A panther will hunt you down and kill you.
Yeah,
and eat you. I don't know.
Ooh, on that note,
yeah,
we're gonna take a break. We'll be right back. What a beautiful morning! Rise and shine, friends. We're looking for Bigfoot today.
Oh my God. What was that?
Is that Bigfoot?
No, that's just Nash. He's a real bear in the morning before he gets his coffee.
Here, Nash. I made a fresh pot of Moses family coffee.
Their original roasted pecan is amazing.
Yum. This is amazing. Bigfoot's right behind me, isn't he?
Run! Ah! Go to mfjerky.com and use promo code SpookyJerky15 to save 15% off your entire order. Moses Family Coffee. The best way to start your paranormal or normal adventure. And we're back. All right. That was a fun topic. I always love some werewolf talk.
I know.
But I also love scary stories and the haunted houses. And listener, Jessica, she sent us some of the strange things that are happening in her house, her old house in Wrightsville. Very fascinating. We have given the task of reading this story to Alicia. Because it's a little bit on the longer side.
Oh, you're almost like our folklorist.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, see, there you go.
So, without further ado, Lish, please tell us the story.
All right. My landlord and best friend, Ian, bought a house in August. We have been told that it's the oldest house in Wrightsville. We have yet to really dig into the past itself, and will soon be taking a trip down to the Historical Society to learn more in regards to this. What we do know is that this house was built before the Civil War. During the war, it was at some point struck by cannon fire. The house appears to have somewhat of a sketchy past. We have yet to know why, but during the Halloween season, it serves as a stop along the Wrightsville Haunted Tour. We are attempting to get a hold of the script of this tour to find out the reasoning for this. The house has a walk-up attic that still has most of the original beams spanning across the room. Tied and nailed to one of those original beams is a severed rope that appears to be just as old. Without jumping to any conclusions on this, it very much resembles if something heavy were once hanging there and was then cut down. I'll let you take what you want from that. As for the experiences that I have witnessed while living here, there's a few weird experiences. Just enough to cause me to feel a tad uneasy on nights that I'm home alone. Before officially moving in, the place required some renovating, as it had seen better days. The horsehair plastered walls were cracking, the multiple generations of wallpaper were peeling everywhere, and most things were simply outdated. The entire upper floor, which serves as my boyfriend Kyle and my apartment, was completely wallpaper. I can confidently state that we are all now experts at removing this stuff. Ian occupies the ground floor. Being that we were all good friends, the floors are only separated by a staircase, which we all come and go as we please. Kyle and I's first night sleeping there, we had just finished painting our bedroom when we eventually passed out from exhaustion on a makeshift bed on the floor. We woke up the next morning and went about our daily routine. Nothing unusual. Later that day, I returned to the house to continue some work in the bathroom. As I unlocked the downstairs door and walked in, I heard footsteps coming from the second floor. Thinking that one of the men assisting on fixing up the house was working overtime, I walked upstairs to greet them. As I got to the top of the steps, I continued to hear slight movement coming from my room. I was curious as to why somebody was working on it since we had just finished painting the night prior. I approached the room and now noticed that the door was closed. This was strange, considering that due to the house's age and slightly warped construction, the door always falls open. We never closed the bedroom door. There's no reason to. I wouldn't have thought too much into it if it weren't for the footsteps that were heard coming from that very room. Thinking that there was an intruder in the house, I slowly walked outside, trying to make as little noise as possible. As soon as I got back to my car, I texted Ian to ask if anyone was working on the house today. He replied that no one was scheduled to be in. I immediately called Kyle to see if he had closed the door when we left, since this would have been unusual. He assured me that neither he nor I had done so. I proceeded to let him know that I had heard footsteps coming from inside the room. With him still on the other end, I cautiously re-entered the house. As I got to the bedroom door, I called out, making myself known. With no reply and not hearing anything more, I slowly opened the door. No one was there. Nothing out of place. Just nothing. A few weeks later, Ian received a bottle of wine from one of his family members. Excited to have an opportunity to test out the wine cellar in the incredibly creepy and unfinished basement, he put it on one of the shelves. A few days later, he went down to check on the wine, which at this point had somehow been knocked off or fallen off the shelf. In his words, the ground around it didn't appear to show any sign of the wine itself. Not long after this, I was alone upstairs taking a shower. As soon as I was done, I heard the kitchen sink faucet was on full blast. Thinking Kyle had come up from the ground floor and used the sink and just forgot to turn it off, I thought nothing of it. I walked downstairs, asked him about it. He then confirmed that he had not been in the upstairs kitchen at any point since he was cooking. We do have a cat, but he was downstairs at this time as well, and has never showed interest in messing with faucets. Just a few nights ago, I was home alone around 10 p.m. cooking dinner on the ground floor. Kyle's a chef, so we usually eat dinner when he gets off work late. I wasn't expecting Kyle home for another 2 hours. I began hearing what sounded like someone stomping around upstairs. At first, thinking it was the cat, I let it go. But then it continued. The stomping was getting louder. This made me nervous, as I know that our cat couldn't make that loud of a sound just walking around. And if he had knocked something over, it wouldn't continue for this long. Kyle texted, letting me know that he was on his way home. At this point, thinking there may be somebody else in the house, I got nervous. I walked around calling for the cat. He was nowhere to be found. This was strange because he is always following us around and comes when we call. After about 10 minutes of calling for him at the bottom of the steps, he peeked around the corner. Slowly, he walked towards me. He was completely puffed up and looked frightened. He got up about 6 feet away from me, stopped, turned around, and darted back upstairs. I've never seen him act like this towards me or anyone for that matter. Knowing that cats are more tuned into danger, this made me even more uncomfortable. I quickly walked back into the kitchen, closing and locking the door behind me, mostly for peace of mind. The pounding continued off and on until Kyle came home, at which point I had finished dinner. I told him all about the experience. He didn't discount it, but suggested that probably it was the cat. The next night, I arrived home from work around 10 p.m. I would again be home alone until about 2 a.m. I had this incredibly uneasy feeling replaying the prior evening's events, trying to make sense of it. Something about this night made me very uncomfortable being home alone. I couldn't shake the feeling that someone else was here. I was going to make dinner again, but feeling mentally and physically drained, I decided it was best to try to relax and watch some Netflix in our living room on the second floor. After having a slight panic attack from not wanting to be at the house alone, I calmed myself down enough to finally start to drift off. This was when the stomping started again.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But this time, it was happening on the ground floor. I knew I wasn't making it up in my head because the cat was sitting right next to me and also turned to look where the sound was coming from. Slightly puffed up again, and with his ears back, he confirmed what I was hearing. We both sat, staring toward the direction of the stairs. Then it stopped. I texted Ian to see if he had arrived home from his flight. As being a pilot, he's gone for days at a time and will get home at strange hours. Stating that he was still traveling, I felt the same panic as the previous night. Being the second night in a row, I reassured myself that it was not an intruder. Probably just the same thing as before. It's harmless. After a few minutes, the same pattern occurred. The stomping started. Kat and I react, staring, waiting. Then it stops. This went on for the rest of the evening, about 10 times, until Kyle came home. Always sporadic. Never a real rhyme or reason to the timing. Again, I told him the experience. We joked around about it for a little bit. And then I let out my frustrations about why this only happens when I'm home alone and the guys are out.
Oh, jeez. Holy moly.
The next night was the evening before my birthday, at which time Ian, Kyle, and I began celebrating with a few drinks. After a few rounds of shots, I wandered off into the attic to apparently confront the ghosts about why they only pick on me. Apparently, I'm either really brave or extremely stupid after I drink.
Well, there's a mix. It's a solid mix, you know.
The last strange event was yesterday. It's such a small detail, but is mostly an annoyance. I had been charging my phone all day right next to the couch in the living room. Before leaving for a mother-daughter shopping trip, I told myself to leave it plugged in there so I would know where it was when I got home, as I wouldn't need it the rest of the day. Well, of course, when I get back, the dumb thing was no longer there. I've searched high and low and have yet to find it. But the one time that I take note of where I left it and purposely do so, it just vanishes. No one else was home all day until after I got back. This remains a mystery to me. I suspect that there is something paranormal in the house. It didn't appreciate my approaching it in my inebriated state the other night. It is now mocking me by stealing my precious phone charger. So although I have not actually seen a ghost of any kind, I definitely feel something is going on here. Even if I am the only one who believes it. But hey, I'd take a friendly ghost over an intruder any day. I will keep you posted on if we find anything interesting about the ghost tour details or the history of the house. Thank you for your amazing podcast, and I can't wait to hear more.
Wow.
Right. Thanks, Jessica. Thanks
Holy
for sharing
moly.
that. A lot of activity.
Yeah, very much so.
It also sounds like some of it is, where the ghost is just kind of repeating certain things it might have done in life. Whether just walking this certain pattern.
Right.
I forget what that kind of haunting's called. Residual.
Yeah, residual.
So it's just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. But interesting that she went out there and gave it a piece of her mind. And it's like, oh, yeah, well, I think I'll just take this and hide it for a while.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is kind of like a poltergeist thing.
Yeah.
Where they just pranking you.
Yep.
I wonder if she could do like what, was it Rona Lee? Where she just turns on the recorder when there's nobody else on her computer, just leave the recorder on and then go about her day to see if she can capture some of the sounds that she's hearing.
Yeah, do some EVPs.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Big time. Because I know like with my cat, he doesn't get all puffed up unless if there's another person in the house or something like that. He doesn't get all puffed up like that. It's only when there's another animal or just something odd.
Okay.
And so I'm wondering if her cat's the same. I mean, they don't get puffed up like that unless there's a challenging animal. But if they're sitting there together and he gets all puffed up, I listen to that cat. That's pretty wild.
We also heard from Geigertown Paranormal.
Oh.
Mike just sent us an update. He started reviewing some of the camera footage and stuff from when we did our investigation of the Funk Basement. He said, hey, guys, it's Mike from Geigertown Paranormal. Listen to the most recent show. Wanted to let you guys know about the over Thanksgiving break. He finally got through just only the video from the camcorder recordings, and I think he may have found and I think I may have found what I believe is to be a direct response of no in the punching bag room to the question of, do you know the 12-year-old boy who died here?
Ooh.
We had some pretty significantly high EMF spikes in the punching bag room, also as a result of the line of question that related specifically to the nightclub. I still have all of my strictly audio recordings to go through, and he knows Brody's completely swamped, but they're going to let us know. Keep us updated.
Right on.
So that's interesting if he captured something saying no in response to his question. Mike, if you can, email that to me. I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much, dude. All right. Hey, if you would like to send us your story, just go to paranormalpuncher.com. You could fill out the form, the contact form we got there, or you can find links to all our social media, so you can contact us through that, too. We love to hear what's going on. We'd love to hear topic ideas. Whatever.
Yeah, anything. Send us anything.
Right. All right. That was a fun episode talking about werewolves. Jessica's story was great. Anything else?
I don't know anything. Everybody's looking at me.
All I know is I'm going to go turn into a werewolf and head home. I mean, that's I'm going to go out and check things out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, like, Nash with pizza, it's time to say goodbye.
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
Remember, if it's not weird,
It's not worth checking out.